friends, Sleepy here. Welcome to another episode of the Weekly Playlist. It's Friday, so you know that means it's time to share the games I've been playing during the week. I'll let you guys know my thoughts and opinions on the games I share with you today, and I'd like to hear what your guys' thoughts are on these titles. I'd also like to hear what games you guys have currently been playing, and if you have any recommendations on a title you think I should pick up, let me know, because I'm always looking for new games to try out, and I have discovered some great games from your guys' suggestions in the past, so definitely let me know. Alright, we'll get started here. First up for PlayStation 2, I've been playing this game for over a year now, and the last couple of weeks I've actually been playing almost every night before I go to bed. It's a game that helps me relax, and that is Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero for PlayStation 2. This is a fantastic racer series. This is actually one of my favorite racing series of all time, and I'm just having an absolute blast playing this. It's a wonderful game. I think you guys should check out, especially if you like quick little fast races is what this series is known for. So basically, you start out with just you only have so much money. You buy a crappy car, and then you go out onto the highways of Tokyo and you start challenging the different racers that are out there, and there's over 400 of them in the game, and all the guys are broke up into different clubs, and then there are some guys called wanderers who are like bosses, and then there are a few bosses in the game. They're a lot tougher than the regular enemies, but it's really fun. So you drive around the various highways of Tokyo and you're looking for opponents, which there's also NPCs driving around, random little cars, trucks, and there's little vehicles with lights and stuff on that you can't race, but you'll look for racers who'll have an R above their head, and they're color-coded based on whether you beat them not or they beat you. So if their enemies are blue, they'll have the arrows on your map. Those are enemies you haven't raced yet, so that's how you know that's someone you can challenge that you haven't challenged yet. If the enemy is red, that means they either beat you, or that's the one you're currently racing at the time. Will turn them red. You're the yellow arrow. If the enemies are green, it means you defeated them and that they're an enemy that's beat. But one of the nice things, though, and one thing I do recommend, is you can challenge people you've defeated more than once, and you can keep racing them over and over again in order to build up credits so that you can modify your car, because it's very important in the Tokyo Extreme Racer series to upgrade your vehicle. You got to upgrade the engine, the clutch, the brakes, the handling, everything with your vehicle, the body. You have to make it aerodynamic and everything in order to be competitive, because the enemies keep getting tougher the further along you get into the game. And I'm currently have over 100 enemies defeated in this now, and I've been having a blast with it. I have quite a bit of money saved up. I'm not sure if I want to buy another vehicle right now, or if I need to get like another $40,000, and then I can get the final upgrade engine for my car. So I'm not sure if I want to upgrade it yet, or maybe jump into another vehicle. So right now I've just been going over battling the same guys over and over to build up the credits, which it's a little grindy, but I have a lot of fun with it. I enjoy the music in the game, and I just like the mechanics of it. You go behind somebody, flash your headlights, and the race starts, and you both have spirit bars, SP bar, and whoever's in the lead, the opponent's bar starts going down, and whoever's bar gets depleted first loses the race. And so if you can get ahead of your enemies, that's where you want to be, and then you can deplete their bar and you end up winning. But it's a fun game. Highly recommend you guys check out the Tokyo Extreme Racer series. It started on the Dreamcast, so you have the first two on Dreamcast, then you have Tokyo Extreme Racer 0 and Tokyo Extreme Racer 3 on PlayStation 2, and then the latest one they had, which actually changed the name of the series to Import Tuner Challenge, is actually on the Xbox 360, and that's one that I'm looking forward to actually playing soon, because I played it a long time ago, but I didn't really know a whole lot about the series at the time. I didn't even know it was related to the Tokyo Extreme Racer games at that time, so that's one I want to get back into. I do want to just warn you guys real quick, if you're looking into getting Import Tuner Challenge for 360, it's uncommon to rare, kind of hard to find, and it's getting really expensive. So if that's what you're looking for, just be prepared to shell out some money for probably like 20 or 30 bucks. But yeah, definitely recommend you guys check out Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero. Fun title. Next up, I've been going back to this. I've been playing this now off and on for a while, but I just had the itch to play this game again, and that was State of Decay 2. This is the Ultimate Edition, which they actually recently confirmed that we're going to be getting a State of Decay 3, which is awesome. So this is a zombie survival horror game. It's really cool. You can pick a couple different characters that have stories to go through, but you can also pick your own character, make your own story that starts a little bit different. And basically you can go to different maps, and the whole idea is to gather survivors, gather supplies and stuff, and survive in a zombie apocalypse in the town. And it's really fun. So you can actually level up the characters that you play as, and you can make them stronger, because everybody starts out, and some have a few, some of the characters have a few skills and stuff that make them better than others in certain things, but weaker in others. And what I really like is, like, if you want to increase your gun skill, start using guns killing zombies, you'll get better in that. If you start using melee weapons to attack the zombies, your melee and fighting skills get better. If you're running around all the time, your cardio gets better. So I really like that aspect to the game, that you can level up your characters. And now this game does have permadeath, meaning if your character dies, they're dead forever and they don't come back. You'd have to start a whole new game again in order to try to find that character. And all the characters in the game, besides the few main ones you can pick, are randomly generated. There's friendly people you'll run into the world, but there's also people that are neutral, which you can either make them friends or enemies. And then there's going to be enemies you'll run into the game. And your choices can affect how others perceive you in the game. So there are missions, there's the main story missions, which the whole basic thing is that there's actually regular zombies, and then this game introduced these new ones called plague zombies, and there's these giant plague hearts, and these are stronger zombies that if they attack you, they can actually infect you with the plague disease. And if you don't get the plague disease cured, which one of the missions is to find a cure for it, your guy will actually turn into a plague zombie, and you'll have to kill him, and then you lose that character. So, it's a fun game. They have several different difficulty levels. They've added a lot of updates since the game first started. All kinds of, there's even a couple new modes they added, and new vehicles and weapons and stuff. There's DLC stuff you can buy for the game. This Ultimate Edition I got because it came with 4-day early, but it also came with the Independence Pack, a Daybreak Pack, and then also gave you the first State of Decay, which I originally played on Xbox 360, was a digital-only title. Now, I do own a physical copy of State of Decay 1, which I love that game as well. I need to go back and actually finish beating that again, but it's just a fun title. When I first started playing this game, I got really far. I was at the end of the game, and then I went and played on another Xbox system, and was playing a different game, and then I accidentally overrode my save file, and that kind of pissed me off, so I hadn't played it for a while. And then earlier this year I decided to go back into it and wanted to replay it, and just been having a fun, tons of hours in this. There's vehicles to find in the game as well, and the difference between the first one and the second one is the vehicles actually have to use gas, so you have to go travel around and look for gas and put it in your car. So if you drive around a long time, you could run out of gas and then you're stuck. Another thing I really like is you can actually put the stuff you loot into backpacks that you carry on yourself, so you can only have so much carrying space. You also have your pockets you can put a few things in. You can actually put stuff in vehicles in the trunks, and the bigger the vehicle are, the more storage it has. And then one of the big aspects to the game, is you get these things called rucksacks, which they could have ammo, or they could have food, or they could have building materials, and those are materials that you use to improve your base. You can build barracks, for everyone to have stuff to sleep. You can build kitchens so they can have something to eat. And there's a variety of different bases you can buy. You can take over, and you have little like honor points and stuff for doing missions and helping people and stuff. And so certain bases cost more points, and you have to have a certain amount of survivors in your thing. And I think you can get up to I think the max is it's either 11 or 12 survivors total, which I'm close to the max, and I recently moved to a really big place, and I've so far played on 2 of the 3 maps, which I do eventually want to go through all the different map levels. But definitely if you guys like zombie games and stuff, definitely check out the State of Decay series. State of Decay 1 is awesome, and so is State of Decay 2, and I can't wait for State of Decay 3, because that looks like that's going to be badass, and I really hope that they add a lot more content to that third one, so definitely check out State of Decay 2. And the last game, which I started playing last week, I've still been playing it and having a blast with it, and that is Outworld, and this is a fantastic game created by a very small studio called 9 Dots and published by Deep Silver. This is a traditional old school RPG. This game does not hold your hand at all, man. This game just will fuck you up. It's difficult. Like the map system is unique because when you look on the map, you don't have like a little arrow where you are. You actually have to start learning like what the map looks like and look for landmarks and stuff like, oh, or there's the mountain, so I'm on this side, because it can be difficult trying to navigate. You can easily get yourself turned around because there's no like quest marker telling you where to go. You got to listen to the instructions from the NPCs in the world that tell you have to go down this path and go past 3 rocks that are jetting out next to a sign, or like stuff like that. And you have to actually follow the directions like you're actually having to do it yourself. So I really like that. It really immerses you in the game. Has fantastic music. I like the voice acting. It does have a lot of reading though, so it's kind of a heavy reading game, because the characters you'll run into, like NPCs, like you'll talk to them, they might say a few of the words in the text, but there'll be more in the text you have to read than what they're saying. So they might say, "Hi dear, how's it going? Coming to the inn," and then you'll have like another paragraph to read. So if you're not into really reading text in an RPG game, this might not be the game for you. If you're not into really difficult action RPGs, this one might not be for you, but it is definitely worth checking out. I got this for only $20 at GameStop. They had it for $25, but I had one of those $5 every month I get off, and I'm really glad that I took a chance on this because it looked good. I checked out reviews from it. People said, it's a more traditional, older RPG like we had in the 90s on computers, where they were tough. And so some people compare it to kind of like Dark Souls. I mean, it's not as difficult as Dark Souls, but it's definitely not easy, like compared to like an Oblivion or a Skyrim or something. A lot tougher than that. And there's also, you cannot have multiple save states. There's only one, and it's constantly saving. So if you die in a game or something, you're dead and you have to live with your choices. Same thing with quests. There's multiple ways to do some quests, and if you do something a certain way, you have to live with the consequences. You tell someone you don't like them or something, or piss them off, you piss them off, and you can't go back and change your choices. You have to be very careful. The combat in the game is pretty cool. You have a variety of weapons you can get. I've already got a variety of stuff. They have bows if you want to use bows and arrows, which are fun. You can use magic and stuff. You can attack with swords. You can get maces. You can get shields. And then there's a variety of enemies. I'm still kind of early in the game, but I fought hyenas so far. I fought ghosts, skeletons, goblins, bandits that are roaming around, and other random weird, like a giant crustacean creature, and some other weird enemies. I've died only once so far, and another thing about that is, your health doesn't regenerate like on its own, like in other games where it keeps regenerating. You have to use band-aids. I feel like the example, like you're bleeding, can get a status effect. You have to use band-aids to stop the bleeding and recover a little bit of health. You also have to eat food and drink water, because your character does have needs, just like you would in real life. So like if you start, getting dehydrated, it'll affect your stats, which I like. So they have status effects that are positive and also negative. So, you have to make sure your character is eating and drinking every day to keep their stamina up. And you also have to sleep. If your character starts getting tired, they're going to start losing stamina and they won't be as strong as before. Another thing that's really cool is you has a great crafting system. So you have different stuff you have to craft, potions and weapons and food items. You can cook in the game and create different recipes, because if you don't cook your food, you can actually get sick, because there are diseases in the game as well, like the common cold, or you can get an infection, like a dog bites you or something. You can get infected, so you got to buy a treatment to cure it or sleep, and if you don't take care of it, it can get worse and worse and start affecting your health. It can actually kill you. So there's a lot of great survival elements to the game as well. That's really awesome. definitely something you guys should give it a try, because I just love that it doesn't hold your hand, and it's, it's like an old school RPG. You can play as either male or female, and then they have three different races that are named, but it's basically like there's a Asian guy or girl, there's an Oriental guy or girl, and there's an African American guy or girl. There's basically the three different ones you can set for. You can change the name and everything, but you can't change the height. You can't change the voice. So the character customization isn't as big as like other games, but it's still worth playing through. I've been having a blast with it. Absolutely love it, and I think you guys should check it out because it's awesome. And I've been having a blast with it. There are three different factions in the game, and you can only join one, and then you have to go through to play the story. So it's definitely one you can play multiple times through. So, I'm going to see how long it takes me to play through once, and then, I'll create a different character, depending on how long it takes, and then go through and play the different faction. Because it would be nice to play through all three factions and see, if there's a different ending to the story, because I don't know as far as like how big the story is, because it's kind of one of those games where you have to, a majority of it, you're making your own story of you just like surviving in the world and living. Because basically it's like someone's described it as like you're an NPC in the game. There's nothing special about you. You're not a god. You're not a Rambo out there. You're just an average Joe guy with average skills that you yourself have to learn how the mechanics of the gameplay. Now there is a tutorial mode, which I believe they added post game, because I did have a huge update when I first installed this game, and I did play through the tutorial mode, and it kind of tells you the basics. I highly recommend that, especially for this game. Go through that tutorial mode. Don't skip anything. Take your time in it, because it'll teach you the basics of crafting, sleeping, eating, backpacks. It'll teach you about combat. It'll teach you about how you have to create spells, because it's not simply just clicking a button. You have to equip certain stuff, bows, and how to use those. So it's definitely worth going through that tutorial mode. But give Outworld a try. And I do have to warn you though, guys, this game is kind of an uncommon to rare game. On eBay there's only a few copies ever, and in my local area, only store that had it was GameStop, and they actually happened to have 2 copies there. And this is where I saw it from, and it looked kind of cool there when I was going back in like June, July, and August, checking out the GameStop sales, and I kept seeing this game there, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll find it cheaper than that $25 that they want at one of my local game stores. And I had them check. Not a single location in any of the 4 states had a copy of this, so definitely it's kind of uncommon. Now, of course, you can get this digitally on the Xbox. It's also on PS4, and it's also on Steam on the computer. But you guys know me, I love my physical stuff. Definitely give Outworld a try. This is an amazing old school RPG. It's not easy, but it's really fun, doesn't hold your hand, and that's one thing I really like about it. And I definitely can see myself putting a lot of hours into this game, so definitely check it out. So we'll do our quick recap like we do every week. We talked about Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero. I love this racing series. It's actually one of my absolute favorite. It's in my top 5 racing series, which I definitely need to do a my favorite racing series video sometime. That'd be fun to show you guys. But definitely check out Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero. Has a lot of wonderful cars in the game, over 400 enemies, and this game will definitely keep you busy for hours of racing fun. Absolutely love it. We talked about State of Decay 2. It's a fun survival horror zombie game. There's also a first one in this. Great game, has permadeath, fun zombies, multiple difficulty levels for everybody's skill. You can play in easy, and the game will be really easy, or you can play in this nightmare mode that they added. It's crazy hard. So there's a difficulty level for everybody, and if you like zombie games, check it out. You will not be disappointed. It's a very fun game. Absolutely love it. And then finally, we talked about Outworld. This is a wonderful action RPG that was made by a very small development team of only 10 people. It's not a AAA game, doesn't have the best graphics in the world, but it's a fun RPG that is just difficult though, so just be warned. This doesn't play like a Skyrim or anything like that. It's not going to tell you where to go other than some directions, and you have to figure it out on your own. There's no map with an indicator where you are. You have to kind of start using visual things, and as you play the game, you'll figure out where you are. Like, I'm starting to know the map myself just from playing it enough times, so you eventually learn where you are so you don't get lost as much. But a wonderful game where you have survival elements in an RPG, worth checking out. So let me know your guys' thoughts on these 3 games that I shared with you. I'd also like to hear what games you guys have been playing lately. You know, let me know what the games you've been checking out for what systems. And if you have any recommendations on a game you think I should check out, please let me know. I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care. Have an amazing day. And Sleepy, we'll see you guys next time.